For decades, the United States has pretty much been the world's undisputed superpower, shaping global economics, politics, and culture. But that world is shifting, and it's shifting fast. So today, we're going to dive into a massive question that our source material is asking. Is U.S. hegemony actually over?
And really, this is the heart of it all. Is the so-called American century, that whole era of singular American dominance, is it officially coming to a close? Well, to even begin to answer that, we first have to understand what that world order really looked like in the first place.
Right. So before we can talk about whether this era is ending, we need to get on the same page about what it even is. What exactly was this world order that might be fading away?
Okay, so here's the key idea. A unipolar world. Think of it as a global system where one single nation is the undisputed heavyweight champion. And for the last few decades, that's been the United States. They basically set the rules for the game, from how we trade to what movies we watch. This is our starting point.
So, where's the proof that things are changing? Well, the first huge piece of the puzzle is all about money. The entire global financial landscape is going through a massive, massive shakeup.
And here's a look at the new players on the field. Our source points to the rise of the BRICS nations, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, as a major new economic force. And China's incredible industrial growth in particular isn't just causing a few ripples, it's creating tectonic shifts in the world's economic foundation.
And this right here shows you the result of all that. On the left, you've got the old way of doing things. The US dollar was king, and almost all global trade revolved around it. But now, look at the right. We're seeing brand new financial systems pop up that don't need to go through Washington. It's just not a one-currency show anymore.
But look, this shift isn't just about dollars and cents. It's also geopolitical. The actual power and influence that countries have on the world stage, well, that's being redistributed.
This quote from our source just nails it. It really gets to the heart of this shift. It suggests that the days when Washington was the only room where the big global decisions were made, those days are fading. The conversation has gotten a lot bigger and a lot more crowded.
So, where are these new power centers? The source points directly to the growing influence of Beijing and Moscow. You can see their increased sway in places like the Middle East and Africa, and the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan is often brought up as a powerful real-world example of this change, a moment that seemed to signal a real shift in American diplomatic leverage.
But the story doesn't stop with challengers on the outside. The third piece of evidence our source brings up is, honestly, maybe the most complicated one: the challenges to U.S. leadership that are coming from inside its own borders.
You can see here we're talking about three core internal pressures: a massive national debt, incredibly intense political polarization, and some really deep social divisions. The main takeaway here from the source is that these aren't just domestic problems. They have a direct impact on the country's ability to project power and lead on the world stage.
So here's the bottom line. There's a direct link between a country's health at home and its strength abroad. I mean, if a nation looks like it's struggling to keep its own house in order, it's just a lot harder for it to project strength and influence around the globe.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. You've got the economic shift, the geopolitical changes, and these internal pressures. So what's the verdict? Well, the source argues that we are moving away from that old model and into something brand new.
And there's a name for it: a multipolar world. Now, this doesn't mean the U.S. is out of the game. Not at all. It's still a formidable force. But what it does mean is that it's now one of several major players on the board. Power is way more spread out, with multiple centers of influence dotted around the globe. And all of this leads us to the final, really thought-provoking question from our source material. Is this big shift towards a multipolar system the start of a more balanced, more fair world? Or is it the beginning of a more chaotic and unstable era? That's the uncertain future we're all facing. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts.